All right, guys, welcome back to our first episode of the Cleaning Business Audit, where we break down smaller cleaning businesses and give them a game plan to improve. Today we have on two guests, the owner of Lake Maids in Minnesota. We have Donavon and Micheal. Guys, I want you to introduce yourselves for everyone. And first off, thank you for coming on. If you could tell everyone a little bit about yourselves, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I can start. Max, thanks for having us on. Great to be here. Yeah, my name's Donavon Adesro. Micheal and I went to high school together. I went to college for engineering, graduated in 2019, and then moved to Houston, but then began developing real estate. So, dude, focused on a bunch of duplexes and stuff like that, and did some build to rent, and quickly realized the cash flow from the real estate properties was very slim. So wanted to turn our attention to small business where you could at least get some cash flow in the meantime in between developments. So yeah.
That's awesome. Micheal, do you want to talk a little bit about your background too?
Yeah, went to high school together. Donavon went to college down south. I took about a semester of college in St. Paul before I dropped out quickly. In 2020, Donavon was getting started in development, and I was just finding a way that I could kind of jump in the space with him. We were able to get a project with the city of St. Paul up here, developing affordable housing, a duplex, and then just like one random evening in October, in the month of October, Donavon messages me like, "Hey, take a look at this cleaning business," and we just try to do cool stuff together, and I think we're both very similar like mindset, and so we just jumped on it, start learning.
That's great. That's a really interesting story. It's great that you guys went to high school together and have a good history. That's always good for business. But let's break into the cleaning business in some numbers. So just so you could tell the audience, they have a little background. You've been running this for about a year now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And last year, how much did you guys do in revenue?
So I believe at the end of last year we were right under 120, if I'm not mistaken. When we purchased it, I believe we had purchased it, and they at the peak were doing like right under 140 maybe. And so we were able to, not bleed completely the first year, which I was happy about. But yeah.
One thing that was good was the margins were up. So even though revenue was slightly down, the margins were higher than from when we purchased it.
Well, that's great. Yeah, people look too much at the gross revenue and not as much as like what you're actually taking home, which is what counts at the end of the day. So that's good. I'd rather have you do less revenue and profit more at the end of the year than more revenue and profit less. So that's great. Let's get into just month by month. I guess I'll give a little rundown of the entire cleaning business as a whole so people kind of understand about how Lake Maids is running and has a little background. So you guys are on Booking Koala. You're using Open for scheduling software. You're using OpenPhone for a business line. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. And then you have a Google business, 79 reviews, 4.6 stars. Your website, it looks like it's on a Booking Koala website built on there. Okay. And then last month in February, you guys did 6,156 in revenue. And it looks like profit was about break even that month. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that was a month after purchasing it. And we still had our VA that we ended up letting go like a month or two after that. But yeah, it was basically break even.
I'm looking at February last month.
Last month.
Yeah.
Oh, last month. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
thinking last year.
Last month we hiring some people on, actually building real like hiring processes. And with that, comes like different cleaner acquisition costs, and
Of course. Of course. Yeah, so what were you guys doing differently for the hiring process last month?
So prior, it was a little bit too loose. We'd get somebody, whether it was on Facebook or Indeed, and then, I'd meet them potentially at the first clean or team them up with a cleaner. And then we were just I was taking the perspective of, subcontractors, it's cleaning. we're making sure that we're communicating with them before, should be able to do it. And that's not the case. And so last month, a lot more hands-on, still partnering them with a prior cleaner who's worked with us in the past, but then making sure that I'm there as well, getting them a kit to start, actual uniform, like a shirt, it says Lake Maids on it, and then being there not just for the first clean, but for the first few. And so, yeah, just kind of a lot more hands-on this last month, and as a result, like the 4 cleaners we hired, who all of which speak Spanish, not much English, it's gone great. They're now walking into clients' houses where there's a language barrier and, executing high quality cleans, and we have less risk of client theft. There's all sorts of benefits that kind of come with this little bit of transition last month.
That's great. That's great. I think when you give your cleaners welcome packets and you give them t-shirts and proper training, of course it might cost a little more, but it's way worth it. Cleaners, like, quality is everything. If you could have good cleaners, good teams that you trust, that's one less constraint you have holding you back that will allow you to scale. So that's very smart of you guys. And listen, not every month is going to be profitable. I have months sometimes where I'm investing tons of money back into the business and we're not profitable too. So not every month is going to be profitable. Let's get into the, I think one of the biggest constraints holding you guys back from my perspective is your gross profit margin due to just cleaner pay. I think cleaner pay for you guys is a little bit, it fluctuates. I'm actually, you know what? I'm looking at your P&L right now, and I don't think that's as accurate as Booking Koala, because a lot of times when you're doing books, your bookkeepers are kind of dragging over numbers because you'll pay cleaners next month that was for the month before. So that's why I see in January it was 42.9%, but in February it was 29.7% was your gross profit margin. So let's go back. I'm going to check out Booking Koala to confirm that, their report section. Do you guys think that's accurate?
Yeah, so I go through Booking Koala and then our bank statements each month. And sometimes what happens, like for example, what happened last month was, for whatever reason, Stripe wasn't sending payments to the cleaner, so we had to Cash App them. So in that case, it wouldn't show up through Booking Koala, but it was still obviously an expense to the cleaner. So when there is a difference, that's usually what it is. Like there's a Stripe issue, or it's a new cleaner and they haven't gotten set up on time, and we just Cash App them because, as you know, cleaners aren't going to wait until the following week when the payday is Friday. So
Yes.
we kind of Cash App them as kind of a quick fix.
But the cleaner pay is still in the Booking Koala settings now, or do you remove it from there?
What do you mean by that?
So, for instance,
Showing them the pay?
Yeah, showing them the pay, exactly. You could still see it, right?
They can see their own pay.
Okay, great. Yeah, of course. No, I was just making sure because I want to make sure that it reflects in the report section on Booking Koala. So that's what I'm going to look at right now. So in February, it looks like it was 6,100 and then about 4,000 in cleaner pay. So yeah, you're looking at about 40% gross margins for that. So do you think your issue is for the reason why your gross margin's a little lower than usual? Do you think that's because you're maybe pricing out jobs a little lower than you could be sometimes to secure them? Or do you think you're overpaying your cleaners? What do you think the root cause of that would be?
I think it's kind of a combination. I think this month, the way the margins are looking is a better representation of what a kind of natural month from us looks like. Last month, there was a couple of unique things like we ran a promo, which we've never done a promo under our cleaning minimum, but we ran a promo, maybe you've seen it on X, that was like, $60-something for
Yeah.
So we ran this promo, and then on top of that, you're cutting your cleaning minimum in half on top of adding, multiple cleaners, and then your team and cleans that are a single cleaner, clean, and so there's just it's kind of like a cluster of unique things that kind of took place last month. To the T of this month, we're running a Facebook ad for, it's basically kind of the same situation, but it's 4 hours at 129. We're getting the same level of response, and we've actually booked 2 of those out, and that doesn't hurt our margins as much because, on those sub $70 cleans, we're paying. We're basically a cleaner pay company at that point. We're losing money on that clean, literally.
Yeah, well, you're locking them in for 3 months, right?
So that's on the follow-up. So making sure that, we're having great follow-up. They're immediately not locked into any contract. We're able to get one out of the cleans that we did from that promo, one person locked in for this month. So, and again, anything with follow-up could...
I could be wrong about this, but I believe with that special, and you could do it your own way, like if you're converting people this way as well, but I would consider locking them in for the 3-month contract. And that's what, I forgot who launched that special, but it's a great ad and a great copy. But I believe that they're locking them in for 3 months on that initial call, just verbally, just saying, look, we could do it we do it for $69. It's a special, but there's a minimum of 3 cleans after that, and your next clean would be full price, which would be $120 or whatever the price is. So in order to get that deal, you have to lock them in for at least 3 minimums. And I actually do that for kind of a different offer for people who are looking for recurring but also don't want to pay for that initial deep cleaning. Sometimes I'll offer them the recurring price initially, but you have to do at least 3 cleans. So that's a great deal that I've seen work as well. But also, guys, I want to give you some props too. I don't want to just mention the things that you can improve. I love how you guys already have $7,000 booked for this month, and we're only 8 days in. Last month you only did $6,100 in revenue. This month you're already at $7,000. So that's great that you're growing, and I think you could easily finish off the month with $8,000, $9,000 on the books. So that's really good to see. And also, I'm pretty sure I just looked. It was like $6,900. Did you guys just close someone on the call?
Yeah, like 20 minutes before this.
Oh, right before this, you closed someone. Awesome.
Great. We answer first. In St. Paul, there's 1,000 cleaning companies, but they don't like the phone.
Yeah, that's everywhere. If you could just pick up the phone, you're one step ahead of everyone else. So one huge thing, guys, I want you to do to improve your company is you have to get more reviews consistently. I know you hear this all the time, but it's so true, and it's the best thing you could do for your business. The reason why I really emphasize this for you guys specifically is because I took a look at your Google business. You already rank pretty well. I could show you the Google Map Pack, but you're at around average 5 rating in your area, number 5 organically, and that's with 79 reviews. And a lot of that is, I believe, because you guys are a storefront Google business, and most cleaning companies are not storefronts. So if you could get reviews consistently, you will level up your business. I see right now you're averaging 2 reviews a month. You should be getting 2 reviews a day. I'm not even kidding. That's a little, sometimes you got to shoot for the stars, land on the moon, right? 2 reviews a day is tough to do, but if you could just get maybe 1 a day or 1 every other day even, that would put you number 1 so quickly, too.
Max, it would be great to, just wanted to hear what you do on your side to generate those reviews. Like, we're trying everything, I think.
Yeah, we are. And we're towing the line of like, I was just going to follow up on him and say, like, how do you balance? You have a full recurring schedule. You've been blasting them for reviews, but you've been blasting them for months, and so curious what you...
So I think timing is really important when it comes to reviews. When someone comes home from their cleaning and they see a beautiful house and everything's clean and it smells great and the cleaner was on time and, they did a good job, they're kind of in a mood where they're more susceptible to leaving reviews. So right after the clean is the best time. When they feel like they just walked in, they're happy with the service, everything went well, you call them up, and then you have to incentivize them, of course. So I'm not sure what you've tried to incentivize them with, but there's a few ways to do this. So one, you could incentivize them with money off of their initial cleaning, which could be like $10, $20 off their initial cleaning that they just had just to leave a review. So just leave a review, you'll get $10, $20 off your cleaning. That always works good. You could offer for the next cleaning as well, so it's better for you. They're going to be less likely to leave a review if you were to do that versus to just give them money off immediately. And then another thing you could do is you could offer to leave a tip for the cleaner. So a lot of times I'll call them up and I'll say, hey, how was your service? Like, oh, it was great. Maria did a great job cleaning. Everything looks perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, awesome. If you were to leave a 5-star review, I could send you the link right after this call and just put Maria's name. We're going to throw her a $10 or $20 tip. Usually I'll do like $20 for all of her hard work. Is that all right with you? And then they're going to be even more incentive. I've seen that work a lot better than offering them money off their clean, because they want to essentially be able to help someone financially just for leaving for 2 seconds of their time. So that's what I've seen work best for reviews. Have you tried that before?
We've run a few different things. Recently, we've been trying to get a little bit frisky with it, to increase the amount that we're getting. We have, so prior, we were just doing, they get an email from Booking Koala, which absorbed so many of our reviews in the past year. Like that Booking Koala email just destroyed
Did you turn that
traffic.
off?
So yeah, we do not have that on anymore. But I personally will send them after photos and the Google link of any clients that we're cleaning residentially. And so that happens the day of the clean. I send it the night of. And then we also have a card that on the front and back has a QR code that states, leave a review, get $50 off your next booking. That card is presented by the cleaners at the end of the clean. It's landed one review since we presented or given it to the team. It's a new change as of right under a month. But the idea there was kind of what you said. They're walking through the clean with the cleaner, hopefully saying good things. Cleaner's able to present a card where they're trying to capture that review. But we're running and we're trying it.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love that you guys are trying different things. I think the issue with the card is that a lot of times cleaners are a little uncomfortable doing that, especially if most of your cleaners I know now don't speak the greatest English. So most likely they're probably not even going to go up to the client. If they do, it's going to be a whole Google Translate mess, right? Yeah. So I think the best way to do it is for you to call them personally on the phone, no SMS, call them, speak to them, as the owner, and ask for a favor, could you do this? I'll send you a link right off when we get off the phone. And if you could just leave a review, I'll give $15 to the cleaner and $15 off your clean. And you could balance how much you give versus the amount of reviews they're getting, right? Let's say you try to give them $20 off their clean, their current clean, that doesn't work. Well, then try to maybe add on $20 to the cleaner tip. And if that doesn't work, maybe you increase it a little bit. And you could start lower, maybe start at 10. And if that doesn't work, try 15. And if that doesn't work, try 20. And then you start getting reviews at 20, just stick with that, right? So that's what I would do. I think it's a lot more personable when you call and just speak to them person to person. Google is everything for our business. If you could leave a review, it would mean the world. And we're going to give our cleaner a $20 tip, all for her hard work from you. And I think that's the best way. I know it's kind of annoying having to call the client every time, but not only that, especially if they're a one-time client, you have the opportunity to get them to recurring. So that's what I would do for reviews. And there's no shortcut to reviews. There's no cheat code. And the only time there is a cheat code, it usually results in getting your Google business suspended.
Yeah.
But okay, so next thing I really recommend to do for your business, and I wish I could share my screen right now and kind of go over it, but is improve your website. So you guys are on a Booking Koala generic website, which is totally okay. I used that for 6 months, guys, and actually drove a lot of organic traffic to it. But there's definitely value, especially with your Google Business Profile, being a storefront and updating that website to a legit website, maybe WordPress or something that's just not hosted on Booking.Quala's platform. And also, I would definitely add different pages. So one thing I would really, really recommend for you guys is location pages. You guys should have location pages for every single location that you service. Every town that you service, you should have a page for, and every single one of those pages should be connected to Google Business Map. So it just talks to Google and shows that you guys are legitimate. But those two changes, I really think your organic could start ripping. If you get to number one, I'm number one in my area, and we get 2 to 5 calls organically every single day, not paying $1 on leads. I don't run any ads, and I know you guys can get to that point. You guys are close. Just have to be very consistent with those reviews, and you'll get there. The next thing,
Can I ask you a question about website?
of course.
So, the website host that you're currently using integrates with Booking.Quala's booking system?
Yep.
Or did you have, okay.
Yeah, so you just have to input the code that Booking.Quala gives you for the form onto that website, and you could attach it, so it's perfectly connected. And honestly, guys, by the way, I'm happy you brought that up. Another thing I would recommend too: get rid of the book now on your website. I don't like that at all. I think a lot of times, and I don't have the data on your website to prove this, but you'll get a lot of traffic that will go to that book now page, look at the prices, and then run away. Versus if you had a contact us page or a get a quote now page where they could just fill out their form, or even a little chat widget that they could just fill out their form on, then they're more likely to fill out that form. You could call them, give them that same price. They probably, I'm just shopping around. You can negotiate a little bit and close them. Versus they just go to the book now page, see that price, think it's the set price, and then they're gone. You never hear from them again. So I would recommend getting rid of that. Let's talk lead gen, guys. What are you currently doing for leads?
So, like Facebook ads, we got the Facebook ad rolling. We do like email campaigns. This month, I've done 2 walkthroughs with commercials just through like cold email outreach. And then we do cold calls, and then, we pull lists, one-time cleans this time last year, do outreach to them. So it's a lot of like hands-on in terms of like the real world. We do like with a couple of different apartment complexes. We have we're in their, new tenant packet. So we have a couple of those. That's about it. I've been gambling the idea of like some of these, page spreads. I've been getting calls about that, and but I'm not super sold on that. We're
Paid
starting
spreads. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like we get these calls from these like neighborhood magazines that, and I'm pretty sure they're garbage.
That's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah. You should stay away from those. They will lie and tell you things that are not true to try to get your business. And I haven't done it personally, but I've called people in the magazines to try to see if they've gotten any return from it, and it's been a negative. Same with the golf scheme they have, where it's not really a scheme, but they try to promote your business in their golf cards. I've called them, and I've called companies on there to just come through, because I was just genuinely curious. I was golfing, and I was like, I get calls for this all the time. Let me call this detailer and see if he gets any calls. And he hasn't gotten one call from it. He's been doing it for like a year now. So I don't think it's the greatest return on ads you're going to get out there. Are you running local service ads?
No LSA. No,
Too expensive?
Yeah, it's so expensive here. It's that's for another day, sadly, in this Twin Cities. So that's why it's been like Facebook, Nextdoor, cold email outreach. What ways can we get creative outside of LSA? 'Cause,
you don't want to rely on LSA at all, but I think you should try to just go on to it and just lower your budget to maybe what you could afford to pay. Because believe it or not, you'll still get calls once in a while from them in that budget, especially once you start ranking higher. So I would consider doing that. As far as email campaigns, that's really good. Are you using HubSpot Instantly to run email campaigns?
So we are not yet. I do our email campaigns through Streak Mail Merger. It is a attachment that Gmail offers. It allows you to send out, I believe it's X amount of emails a month. It might be like 12,000 or something like that. It allows you to set up like follow-up campaigns as well. And yeah, so we just pull like we ran one for dance studios. I toured a like really massive it's the dance warehouse. It's got like 6 dance studios in it. There's like 60 mirrors to clean. And so getting something, I've been, seeing a lot about like cold email campaigns, and it's starting to, at least result in me being able to go and walk through places that that place was like 35 minutes away. I would not have drove there. I would not have ever found that warehouse unless I, pulled that email list and sent that email off. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. A lot of people don't do outreach because they're lazy and they don't see instant results from it. It's not easy. It's not like Google LSA where you just get an instant result and an instant phone call. So I think that's really good. You definitely want to be strategical with your outreach. There's a lot of ways, and you could do well with just a spreadsheet and with a phone and just dialing. But I like to kind of systemize everything. So I'm not sure how set up HubSpot is, but Clean Genie is my CRM, and we set up a lot of outreach campaigns through there. So we have like reactivation campaigns for one-time clients, real estate SMS campaigns, Airbnb owner SMS campaigns, email campaigns, etc. And it allows you to kind of ensure that you're doing your due diligence when you're doing this outreach and making sure you're not just like calling someone one time and then never contacting them again. Like we have a power dialer in there where essentially you import your list into the power dialer, automatically will call them. It simplifies it because you have an option whether to click like no answer or call like no answer 1, no answer 2, no answer 3, or follow up or not interested. So you just click a button and it automatically keeps track of it in the pipeline, which ensures that you're following up with these clients who don't answer and you're actually like trying to suck all the juice out of these leads. Because if you just call them one time and don't keep track of them, you're kind of wasting money and you're wasting time, and it's not as efficient as possible. And also I have some like automations where, for instance, if I call someone they don't answer, we'll send them an SMS message too. It's like cool things like that could be done a little more efficiently, but doing something is better than nothing. So as long as you guys are doing outreach, that's great, and I would continue to do that, and I would try to do a little bit of everything. Do email campaigns, do cold calling, and do SMS. So just always try to improve your systems to make sure you guys are efficiently doing outreach. What do you
I don't
guys
think
do?
we have it like automated well enough yet. I think it's too manual right now, and it's something me and Donovan talk about. So we've been, trying to situate what does it look like to try to automate some of those processes.
Yeah, we could chat after, and I could show. I think Clean Genie would definitely be able to help you guys. But another thing you guys could do, if you want to, right now it really won't be a huge money maker, but it'll save you $200 a month, is I would just pass on that Stripe fee to new clients and potentially to old clients. Like I pass on that 3% fee to all of my clients, and when you're doing $50,000 a month, that saves you $1,000 every single month. And you guys will get to that point too. It took me way too long to figure this out, but one day I was like, oh my God, we just saved $1,000 every month. Let's go. It's the easiest thing. It took two seconds, right? So that's something I would recommend doing to anyone who is running a cleaning company. Pass on that processing fee. Next, let's go through your P&L really quickly. I have some questions about some of your subscriptions. Okay, so subscriptions. I see January was at $91 a month. February it went to $515 a month. What's that about?
Yeah, so that was a couple annual subscriptions had hit. So
Ah,
again, we just signed up for HubSpot, so that was 180 for the annual. Open Phone was 294 for the annual.
okay. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
so it should go back down to the $100 a month, give or take, after that.
And then who's Lupe?
Lupe is our VA. She's in Mexico, but she helps with answering calls, some of the bookkeeping. Yeah, Michael, how do you feel it's working with her so far?
Good. I think that like we wouldn't be able to hire the set of cleaners that we just hired kind of without her. I think that uh, training is important in everything, you know. So like she does as well as we train her, and she does a great job. And so I think it's been good, and I think that the positive that comes with her is having that access to the potential like Spanish speaking market, being able to hire
Yep.
Spanish cleaners. St. Paul is massive like hotbed for like Latina businesses. So you know maybe having a more of a easy into those. It's of a possibility. It's been all right. It's been nice, I would say.
That's great. Yeah, it blows my mind when people in the cleaning industry are hiring from the Philippines or they're hiring from, you know, Middle East, whatever it is, when you could hire someone from Latin America who's bilingual, who speaks Spanish, who could build a culture with their cleaners, and
Hmm.
who could, especially if you don't speak Spanish, it's difficult to communicate. It's difficult to build that culture and relationship with your cleaners. So if you have someone who could do that much better than you for the same exact price, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. So I'm happy that your virtual assistant is bilingual. I think that that will really help with especially hiring. It's huge for. But yeah, how much are you paying her?
We're paying her it's about $6 an hour for 20 hours a week. So it ends up being roughly 600 a month, a little
Okay,
over that.
great. I like how you guys are working with her part time until like you could afford to bring her on full time. That's smart. A lot of people would just go into debt to just hire a virtual assistant full time, and a lot of times they're not ready to hire a VA full time, and it actually could really hurt your business if you do that too soon without having the right systems and processes in place. Let's see. Variable costs, I'm assuming that's mostly ad spend.
Yeah, just marketing. So that's almost, I think, exclusively the Facebook ads right now.
Hmm.
And you're spending about 500 in Feb. What about general and administrative? It's at 1304.
Yeah, that's just the sum of the fixed cost up there.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, that is my fault.
there you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's see if there's anything else I'd want to go over with you guys. Yeah, I think we have a pretty good understanding of what we need to do. Um, I think we should probably wrap this up soon, but to give you a little overview, a little summary, we need more reviews. I would update your website. I would offer, in order to get those reviews, I would offer like real incentives and test out the incentives to see which gets the most conversions. And then I would try to lower your cleaner pay and increase pricing because you can't really 40% gross margins I can understand, but 29% definitely we need to get that up. Any other questions you guys might have about your business or how to improve or what you could do?
I had a question on, if you have any commercial clients, like how are you getting those and, what's that kind of sales process like the walkthrough, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so most of our commercial clients now come organically. I have a new restaurant that's coming near me. It's a really expensive steak restaurant that called me, quoted them. I sent them a proposal, and then immediately scheduled a walkthrough with them for actually a few days from now. After the walkthrough, while I'm at the walkthrough, I usually schedule another follow-up in-person meeting with the decision maker, and I'll bring an updated quote, because I just kind of sent them an estimate, in person, and break down exactly the scope of work and what we'll be doing, go over any questions and concerns with them, and then from there on, if I don't close them, then just consistently following up with them. But that's kind of my timeline for that. As far as like getting commercial clients and doing without just hoping they come to you organically, I would definitely recommend doing outreach. That's really the only way to get these businesses is SMS campaigns, email campaigns, cold calling, even going door to door in person. I've done, and you can't go wrong with any one of those if you're just doing them efficiently. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay, that's helpful. Appreciate that.
So as you're, scaling from, let's say, doing like 6K to 10K to now you're, consistently in that, like, you're north of 15. Was the majority of that when you were in that period of growth coming through residentially?
That's a good question. So yeah, my initial growth, when I went from I was in like stuck in the $4,000 range, and then we kind of quickly jumped to 20,000 in 1 month, and then scaled up from there. But a lot of that was like a combination of just figuring out what works. Essentially, like when I was in that $4,000 range, I was just tweaking, and then I think everything came together that 1 month when we started shooting up. So I didn't really change much of my business except, actually, no, that's a lot. I changed a lot. So I had really crappy cleaners. I wasn't converting any to recurring. I wasn't able to service the cleans properly, so I was getting a lot of complaints. And then a lot of it too was lead gen. I started doing more like guerrilla marketing tactics. I wasn't just relying on LSA. Started doing tons of door hangers, like crazy volume. I started doing flyers with leasing apartments. And I started doing that like maybe a month or two before, which kind of compounded into that month. And combined that with like newer school techniques, which were SMS campaigns, outbound, building out some automations in place as well. And the combination of all of that is kind of what took us to that next level. It was March of 2022, and then we just kept growing from there.
And so March of 2022, lights turn on, you're doing 20K. 3 months from now, how do you ensure you're still doing 20K? Because, we'll have months where we're having August of last year or July of last year, we touched like right at 16K, and we had a pretty high recurring rate. And so it's all, to me in my head, it's like, and now me and Donavon are kind of moving through the year, it's all fine and dandy to have, you can have 17K in recurring residential, but if they all walk out the door by December, so what does that play when, oh my God, we're at 20K, how do I get them to lock?
It's just about ensuring that your churn rate is slower than your growth rate, right? So if your churn rate is you're losing 3 clients a month and you're only gaining 1 client a month, you're not going to stay at that revenue mark forever. So you need to ensure that you're constantly growing. So in order to do that, you have to ensure that you don't stop what you were doing to get to that growth mark. Like figure out what worked. Was it one lucky client that called you? You might be a little screwed, and you're going to have to figure out what actually works. But was it you were getting consistent lead flow? Maybe you were spending $1,000 a month on Facebook ads, and you were getting a good return on those ads, but you stopped for some reason. Like, you have to continue doing what gave you that initial growth, and also continue trying different things. So, and also, yeah, like you're one step ahead of the game too if you are able to convert these clients to recurring. When I was growing, I was spending a good amount of money on Facebook ads and also LSA, and I didn't just immediately shut that off after March. I continued doing that, and I didn't have a crazy recurring rate. I mean, that first month when we went from 4 to 20, A lot of those were move out cleans from apartment turnovers that I secured. So I didn't have a crazy recurring revenue, but I just kept hustling, kept getting clients, kept doing what works, and converting whatever I can, and continued spending money on ads. Like in the beginning, I'm a huge proponent of spending as much money on ads as you could afford, as long as you're getting a conversion rate, because you need the experience. You need to get the reviews. You need to get your cleaners busy. You need to learn too. You're learning so much from all of the amount of volume you're doing. You just learn. Like you learn how to close clients and how to follow up with clients and how to convert one-time clients to recurring. Like you're learning so much. You're learning what clients to stay away from. That I don't even care if you have to break even from the ad spend. Just like as long as you're staying in the game, you're getting those reps in, and you're not losing money.
Cool, that's helpful. One last thing on the website. So who do you use? Do you use WordPress, and did you build it yourself, or you hired someone to do that, or?
No, I hired someone to do that.
Yeah.
And I could connect you after the call to someone who could do it for affordable and not going to charge you a crazy amount of money for a website.
Cool. Awesome.
Great. Cool. Well, guys, that's it. First episode of the Cleaning Business Audit. It was great having you guys on. I'm honored to be able to interview you guys. It was awesome, and hope you guys got some value from it. We're going to be posting once a week, so stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.